Jim Talent, former United States Senator, former Congressman from the great state of Missouri, now at the Bipartisan Policy Center. Follow him on Twitter at Jim Talent. And he's joining me by Skype this morning. If I'd known you were going to do that, Senator, I would have shaved.
And I put a coat on just for you.
Well, I normally put on a coat for Stavridis, but I didn't know you were joining me by this. Hey, Senator, I got to ask you. I watched that hearing yesterday, the House Judiciary Committee. I played a lot of it on the show 2 days ago. I've never been more embarrassed to be an American. I mean, if you were a foreign citizen, foreign country watching that, you'd say we're out of our mind. What did you make of that?
It was cringeworthy. And I say this as a former committee chairman. I chaired a committee in the House for 2 terms. You look, the chairman of a committee can operate the committee in a way, and should, that advances his own policy and advances within limits the partisan interests of his party. Okay. But you do that in the subject matter of the hearings that you choose, the witnesses that you pick, and the timing of the hearings. Once the hearing starts, you have to act a little bit more like a judge. And the two things that you have to do, you have to let the witnesses answer questions when they're asked. If the member wants to take the whole 5 minutes and make a statement, they can do it. But if they ask a question, the witness gets to answer it. And number two, when a witness is attacked personally, okay, you have to give them an opportunity to respond. You simply do. And they didn't. And it turned the whole hearing into a circus and made the Democrats look terrible and made Jerry Nadler look worse. And he was a classmate.
Let me ask you about rule number 3. This is basic human decency. When someone asks for a break, they usually need to use the restroom. And Nadler
Yes.
wouldn't let the Attorney General of the United States, of course, the witness wants a break. Don't you give them a break?
Absolutely, and that's exactly the reason. The man had sat there all day long. Okay. None of us are spring chickens anymore, you. He needed to use the restroom. So you give him a 5 minute break to use the restroom. I mean,
Yeah.
if I wanted to bend over backwards and tease out some circumstance where I wouldn't have allowed that, maybe I could find one, but not when you knew the guy had to go to the bathroom. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
No,
It's
I remember when Bill Clinton completely bollocksed up Ken Starr by taking bathroom break after bathroom break during the long sought after deposition
right.
during the impeachment. That wasn't this. I just thought Nadler, he doesn't appear to be competent. I mean, in
Well, you
terms
know
of
what?
either execution or mentally.
Let me just point something out, okay? AOC won her primary and Elliot Engel lost. Okay, think about that,
Yep. Yep.
and then ask yourself what audience Jerry Nadler was playing to there. Okay,
Because they're
now I
all afraid. They're all afraid because they're old and out of touch and they know they're vulnerable. Elliot Engel was just like Jerry Nadler, kind of a bumbling along. What am I going to do if I don't have this job person?
Yeah, and look, I don't think this helps you, because there's a reason this story is trending all over conservative media, because it made all the Democrats look bad. And people do not want, somebody to lose consistently as part of their party, or they don't want to support a loser. So you run these committee hearings in a different way. You just do your work, you get the strong points, you make your points, and if you want to go after a witness like Barr, that's how you have to do it. You can't do it by treating it like it's some kind of, Soviet show trial. I mean,
You
all
know,
it
the,
does
the,
is
the most effective cross, and I'm not a litigator, but the most effective cross I've ever seen is quiet cross, where you're just methodically leading someone down a road to where they're contradicted, not when you're saying reclaim my time. Was that ever a thing with
no.
you?
Now, that's the thing. See, what I would have told the member is, look, if you don't want to ask a question, you don't have to. But if you ask a question, you have to let him answer. Now, here's what I did do a lot of the time. If I thought a witness was filibustering the 5 minutes out, which they will do, particularly administration witnesses, I would intervene, and I would smile, and I would say to the witness, look, I think the member of either party has a good point, and I want you to address it. And if you try and spin out the 5 minutes, I'll give them extra time. The five
Ah,
minute rule isn't a straitjacket. You can give members extra time if you're the chairman. See, that's what you do. You say to the member, look, if you think he's trying to avoid your question, and I agree, I'll give you a couple extra minutes. But you
uh,
have to let him answer.
last question. Good old days. Did Democrats used to act this way when you were in the
Well,
minority?
the best chairman I ever served with was Ron Dellums, my first chairman on the Armed Services Committee. You'll remember Ron.
Ron Dellums was a good chairman?
Listen, I didn't agree with Ron about anything.
No.
He was pretty close to a Marxist, if he
Yes.
wasn't one. But he was such a gentleman. He ran the committee so well, and we did so much good work. I could tell you so, and everybody who knows Ron could tell you, so, if he's not with us anymore, but could tell you some great Ron Dellums stories. So absolutely not. And nobody was more respected than Ron Dellums.
You know, it's not hard to be gracious. It really is not hard to be gracious.
At least yes, the chairman needs to be gracious. You can't let you can't let the members berate the witnesses, and you have to protect the members too. You can't let disrespect from the witnesses. These
Jim
are
Talent, if they win, everything they run will be run that way if they win.
Well, look, that's there. People, I'm beginning to be convinced of that. Let's put it this way: I can't believe that anybody watching this who is not solidly with the red or the blue tribe came away from this more inclined to vote for the Democrats.
I agree with that. Senator Jim Talent, thank you. Follow him on Twitter at Jim Talent. Follow me to the next hour, America. It's the Hugh Hewitt Show.